What is going on, you awesome creatives, and welcome to video 1 looking into Adobe Photoshop CC 2018. So I've already opened up the application, so let's just jump straight on into it. Now normally you'll have all your recent kind of projects kind of right in front of you here on this screen. However, because I don't have any recent projects open up, I'm obviously greeted with this create new kind of tab here, or over on the left hand side I've got create new or open. Few Lightroom photos and CC files. I don't really deal with this too much, and obviously the traditional way of doing things, file, new and open up in here. We'll go over this menu bar in depth in a little bit, but for now let's just go into create new. Into this tab you've got a whole heap of presets that you can kind of select depending on what you want to do with Photoshop. Now obviously for us, we're usually doing print documents because we want to print them for a presentation document, and usually I'll kind of come into here and go view all presets. We've got things like A4, A3s, but you'll notice here that we have no A1s. So I'm going to kind of come down into these parameters and start adjusting these, and I know that an A1 is about 841 by about 594, so I can input that in. And obviously I can change the orientation to be portrait or landscape depending on what I need. I'm not worried too much about these upwards. We're not going to go into it too much depth. And our resolution for this, we only probably need a maximum of 150 pixels per inch. Right, once that's done, obviously because it wasn't saved as a preset earlier, we can kind of click on this button up here and we can save it as a preset. So I'm going to create it as an A1 paper size. And I'm just going to hit save preset there. Now you'll notice here that instead of coming into print, if I come into save, I now have my A1 paper size there for future reference. So I can now click create, and there we have it, guys. My A1 piece of paper is opened up. Now I'm going to kind of direct your eyes around the screen a little bit here. Over up in the top we've obviously got our menu bar where we can select a whole heap of different things, and you'll find in Photoshop there is multiple ways of doing the same thing. So we'll kind of rely on this, but normally we'll probably do keyboard shortcuts because it is a little bit quicker than coming up into our menus. Now coming down here we have a options bar. And this option bar will change depending on what these tools over here on the left hand side are selected. Underneath this we have got obviously a document and what document we've got opened up, and you could have a series of different tabs along here depending on how many you've got opened up. Then again, like I've mentioned, you've got your tools down here on the left hand side, which we'll be going over really quickly, and then in from here we've got our rulers. Now if you don't have your rulers kind of up, you can use Control R or Command R to kind of put those up if you so desire. Coming down here onto the left hand side you've obviously got our zoom. I'm not so worried about these two kind of things, our zoom and our documents. To zoom you can hold down Alt and you can use your scrolly wheel to zoom in and out of the document. That's the easiest way to zoom in your document. Over in here we've obviously got our layers, and this is where all of our work will kind of take place in Adobe Photoshop. You kind of treat your layers very much like you would with trace paper. Obviously as you build up your layers in Photoshop, you can kind of see what's below or underneath the current layer, but you're not actually drawing on the layers underneath. So you can kind of have different layers set up for however you like. Going up from there we've obviously got our properties or our adjustments, alright, and I can go into these adjustments later on. And then up here I've got color. Now yours might not look exactly like this, your screen or Photoshop might not look exactly like this. So if we go up into our window we can actually start adjusting all of these different things and start placing them up. So say I want this navigation panel up, which I usually use a fair bit. We've got navigator here, and I'm actually going to click and drag that up, and we're going to put that up above our color swatches, and I'm going to put this histogram up with it as well. Alright, and now if I go into my navigator, if I zoom into a part of our document, you'll notice a little red rectangle here which will kind of navigate and show me where I am on my overall artboard, alright, or canvas. Now if I hit Command and 0, that will zoom me way out to the extent of that artboard. So this is kind of our canvas and our artboard, and then outside of this into this black area we've got our scratch area. So you can actually right click this and you can change it to different colors if you so choose. I usually just leave it the standard dark grey color and just let it be. Alright, and then over here you'll also notice I have a few other kind of toolbars open up, and this here is my history. So whatever kind of moves or actions I take within Photoshop, it'll have the most recent 15 here, and I can obviously go back in and kind of adjust back up to a certain point. I've also got actions here, which we're not going to be going over too much, information panel and whatnot. And again, if you guys don't have these, you can kind of come into this window and you can select adjustments, which are these ones, your color, which is obviously your color and swatches, your layers, which you definitely want to open all the time, navigator, which we just open up, and a few others. Now obviously if I want brushes and stuff open up, I've got all of these here as well. So you can find here that if you want to open up your brushes and slide them over onto the side, I've just got this as a quick draw out panel if I so choose to use it. That is a very basic rundown of the UI in Photoshop.